Look at the knife resting on your counter. It's not just a blade. It is one of the oldest levers of human survival. But look past it, at the glowing display on your refrigerator, or the induction surface that heats without a flame. Have you ever walked toward an appliance and watched the screen illuminate, anticipating your approach before you even reached for the handle? That seamless recognition is the first sign of the merger. We have traded the open flame for a managed thermal grid. 25 years ago, the kitchen was a sanctuary of domestic isolation. When you stepped onto the linoleum, you entered a private vacuum of raw elements. No external server monitored the expiration of your milk. No software update could remotely alter the temperature of your oven. You were the sole pilot of an unlinked mechanical space, and you didn't realize that cooking was synonymous with self-reliance. But in 2026, the kitchen is no longer a room where you prepare sustenance. It is an ingestion portal for a systemic logistics network. To open your pantry today is to occupy a data point in a vast telemetry-driven experiment. That shift from manual craft to tracked consumption followed a blueprint. I'm the Analyst. This is Blueprint Sequence. Step back 25 years. In 2001, the kitchen was a tactile island. The blueprint was defined by physical friction and raw chemical energy. Remember the grocery ritual? It was a purely physical expedition, the chaotic geography of the supermarket aisles, paper coupons clipped from newsprint, and a cash transaction at a register that didn't know your name. Your inventory was entirely offline. When you placed food inside your refrigerator, it existed only there, in a cold, dark, blind box. Remember the intimacy of the preparation. You didn't wait for an app notification to tell you a pan was hot. You felt it. You hovered your bare palm over the heavy iron burner, reading the heat of an open gas flame or a glowing electric coil. You used your senses to audit the state of the matter, the changing color of a sear, or the specific aroma rising from a skillet. You were a mechanic of your own destiny. The dashboard of the room was a landscape of physical switches, deep-pressing plastic keys, and mechanical dial timers that ticked down with an audible, spring-loaded countdown. Your stove wasn't connected to a cloud network, it was an isolated block of steel, completely oblivious to the world outside your walls. And there was the recipe box, a handwritten archive of family history. There was no algorithmic recommendation engine pushing video content to a screen while you chopped. You cooked what you knew, accepting the genuine risk of an improvised failure. That risk was the very proof of your independence. This was the era of absolute anonymity. Your trash can didn't catalog its waste, and your refrigerator didn't report your habits to an insurance provider. You owned the hardware, and the hardware had no memory. You were the ghost in the kitchen. Fast forward to 2026, the blueprint has shifted from a utility room to a leased software asset. Your kitchen is no longer a collection of tools you own, it is an agentic appliance network that updates while you sleep. If the manufacturer decides to change the interface or lock specific precision cooking modes behind a monthly fee, they do it silently, over the air. You wake up to a different operating environment than the one you used the night before. We have entered the age of the appliance paywall. You are paying rent on the utility of physical objects you've already purchased. This is the ultimate triumph of the blueprint, the transformation of a domestic tool into a recurring revenue stream. Consider the death of intuition. The kitchen has outsourced your sensory awareness to a blue line on a screen. We no longer look at the food, we look at a phone notification telling us our protein has reached its target via a Bluetooth probe. We have traded our internal compass for a proprietary algorithm. Your refrigerator now possesses an algorithmic surveillance grid, logging your consumption to automate delivery apps that drop pre-packaged meal kits onto your doorstep. The glass slab interface isn't a control panel, it's a commerce terminal designed to manage your household data while the system manages the supply chain. We haven't just lost the buttons, we've lost the veil. between our survival and the market. By 2051, the concept of cooking will be a museum piece, a hobby for the eccentric performed behind closed doors. The steering wheel of the home is being removed. The data reveals two branching sequences for the human intake. The first blueprint, the molecular materialization engine. The kitchen is reduced to a clean, featureless counter of smart material. Food is compiled at the molecular level using cartridge bases, making agriculture obsolete. The journey of cooking is replaced by a digital printing arc. But consider the cost. A generation that never touches raw earth will eventually lose its connection to the biological order. We are no longer participants, we are just content being fueled by synthesized code. Alternatively, the second blueprint, the biometric ambient kitchen. In this sequence, the room itself becomes an extension of your vascular system. The surfaces and tracking fields constantly audit your cellular degradation and blood sugar the moment you step inside. It doesn't ask for your preference, it automatically synthesizes a liquid or solid macrodose tailored to your real-time genetic requirements. We regain our empty counters, but we surrender the final sanctuary of the private self. The world becomes an omniscient companion, ensuring you are never malnourished, but also never truly free. Both potentials represent the final evolution. We have moved from the chef to the operator to the cargo. In this final transition, we have perfected the flow, but we have sacrificed the hearth. The domestic blueprint is still being written, but the boundaries are already being established. We began this sequence standing over an open fire, reading the heat with our skin and feeling the weight of an iron skillet. We end it as biological systems, receiving optimized nutrient loads from a solid-state synthesis block connected to the grid. The blueprint of the kitchen was never just about food preparation. It was about the basic architecture of human autonomy. And as the physical flame disappears from our homes, we must look at our plates and ask what or who is truly dictating what keeps us alive. The counters remain clean, but the ritual of the meal has been completely rewritten in code. We have exchanged the chaotic imperfection of traditional cooking for the safety and convenience of an automated, sterile intake path. In our pursuit of a frictionless, optimized lifestyle, we have removed the very manual labor that once grounded us to our environment. The sequence is moving toward a continuous horizon of biochemical efficiency, but a kitchen without an open flame is a space where the individual no longer controls the baseline of survival. Every meal we materialize now leaves a permanent record in the corporate data logs. The home is watching. The system is learning, and the blueprint is nearly complete. I am the analyst. Sequence complete.